Well, so my name's Garrett. I am a student recruiter at Dallas Baptist University. And so, for those of you who don't know what DBU is, there's a picture of it right on the screen right now. Hopefully, y'all can see this. And basically, DBU is a Baptist university that is located close to Grand Prairie, kind of in that middle line between Grand Prairie and Dallas. So if you've ever been kind of in the West Dallas area, that's kind of where we are. We're kind of in a little pocket where it's just kind of, there's not a lot of stuff around. It's just kind of like in a nice little area where it's by itself. So it's pretty unique in that way for most universities. But we are a four-year university. We do have undergraduate courses, graduate courses, and doctoral courses. Yeah, we'll just go ahead and get right into this PowerPoint presentation. So first is our mission statement. And so if y'all, the mission of Dallas Baptist University is to provide Christ-centered quality higher education in the arts, sciences, and professional studies at both the undergraduate and graduate levels to traditional age and adult students in order to produce servant leaders who have the ability to integrate faith and learning through their respective callings. So I want y'all to really look at here in the mission statement is the last two lines, which is to produce servant leaders who have the ability to integrate and learning through their respective callings. I think this is really what DBU is all about, is really about producing servant leaders. What that means is that we're trying to produce people that are going to go into their respective workforce areas, whether that be business, politics, education, wherever that may be for you specifically. And we want to create leaders who are also serving. So instead of being someone who might just talk down to people, rather we want to create people who are like Christ, who will serve the people that they are also leading. And we also have a huge on integrating faith and learning in your workforce. So basically what that would look like is in the classroom, we try to make it to where instead of it just being like maybe your normal classes that you would have at another university, we try to put faith into it to where you're learning about Christ and growing in your walk with Christ, also while you are learning in your different classes. And so there's a lot of different ways that teachers execute that. But that is really the goal of DBU, is to help produce servant leaders and integrate faith and learning together to help you be able to figure out how to be a believer inside of your calling, whether that be business or education ministry, wherever that would look like for you specifically. But yeah, we're here. This is the location of where we are for DBU. And so we're in Southwest Dallas. And like you can see, it says there we're next to Grand Prairie. So you have Grand Prairie. Right to the right of Grand Prairie is DBU. So we're pretty close to Arlington. I'm from Arlington, so it's about a 20-minute drive for me from Arlington. And so, yeah, we're 15 minutes from downtown Dallas, and as it says there, about 30 minutes from Fort Worth. So, yeah, we have a nice little kind of middle ground area in between Arlington and Dallas. It's about the same distance both directions. So a lot of students will on the weekends go to downtown Dallas and hang out and do different things there. Or if you live in the Metroplex area, you can go home and still see your family without having to have a major drive to get home. These are some of our quick facts that we have about DBU. I think the big one to look at that I usually point out the most is our average class size. It's 12 students, so it's a little bit smaller than probably what you would be used to coming from public school. But what this allows for is a really good connection with not only your classmates, but also with your professors. So it really helps whenever you're getting into your junior and senior year, getting into your really specific subjects that you'll be able to talk to professors that are professionals in their fields that have spent time in their different, and they can help you get connections with whatever jobs you're trying to go into. So it was really helpful that you have these really small class sizes towards the end of your degree. Um, and then also a huge thing, we have a lot of clubs and organizations, which a lot of people are surprised by that being a smaller kind of private school. But we do have a lot of ways to get involved on campus, and a lot of ways to just kind of experience college life while you're here at DBU. And then this is a huge one. 99% of our first year incoming students receive financial aid. So what that means for you is that if you're coming to DBU and you want to look into DBU, it is worth just applying and turning in your GPA, because you're most likely going to get financial aid, and most likely you're going to get scholarships. And so it's worth it to apply and get accepted and see what the price will look like once you add financial aid to that. And we'll talk more about financial aid and scholarships here in a second. But first, we'll move on to the next slide. And these are our top 5 majors. The people that you're going to see the most at DBU is our elementary education majors. Basically, the reason this is one of our biggest majors is because our elementary education program is a top 3 school in the nation for elementary education. And depending on the year, our job rate leaving the elementary education program is 100%. So if 100%, it's really close because one person might not get their job. And it's kind of funny because we'll kind of pick on them. We'll be like, man, you ruined the numbers, right? But really, like, if you are in our elementary education program, you have a very high chance of getting into a job directly after you leave college. And then we have our business program, which is also really big. The cool thing about our business program is that everyone in our business program has some sort of experience in the actual business. So they have actually experienced business. They're not just like professors that have just kind of studied business, but they've lots of experience in business. And there's just a lot of really good professors in our business program. Then you have psychology. That's one of the coolest things about our psychology program is that we have the DBU, we have our counseling center, and a lot of our psychology students, if they want to be counselors, get a lot of experience doing counseling through our counseling center, actually. In their grad program, when they need their hours, they can do their hours through our counseling center. And then we have Christian studies. This is what I am. I'm a biblical studies major. So if you're interested in going into ministry, we have a really good program. Not a lot of Christian studies majors out there at other universities, but DBU does a really good job with it. It really helps transition well into a seminary perspective. So if you're looking at ministry, DBU is a really good Christian studies school. And then we have our biology, which also leads to like pre-med, pre-nursing. So with the biology program, we also have a partnership with Baylor that once you, let's say you're a pre-med or a pre-nursing and you are ready to go to nursing school or med school, you can go through the Baylor Nursing or Baylor Med School, but you can still live on campus at DBU, and you can go to the location in Dallas. So you can still live after freshman, sophomore, even sometimes junior year. You can still live with your friends on campus and move over the Baylor program and stay in Dallas and stay on campus. And so it's a really good opportunity and really cool partnership that we have. Next, we have our on-campus living. These first 2 points that you see these are our freshman housing. As freshmen, every freshman has to stay in the dorms if they live on campus. And basically you have female and male dorms. We don't have co-ed dorms. So for the females, we have Spence and Crowley. And then for the male, we have Williams and Lang. So there's kind of two different types for the girls. You have either suite style or you have community style bathrooms. So basically, what that means is Spence is our suite style. So basically, you'll have two rooms connected together. Between those two rooms, there's 5 people, a 2-person and a 3-person room, and is your bathroom. It has a shower, toilet, everything you need. But those two rooms will share one bathroom. In Crowley, it's community style. So basically, every hall has a community style bathroom that has everything that you all need there, just in more of a community style. And then for the guys, you have Williams and Lang. Both of those are suite style, like Spence was, where it's 3 on one side and 2 on the other, and they have a bathroom in the middle. And so with those, you have Jewel House and Stone House. Those are both just two other kind of things within freshman dorms that allows you to just learn more about, I guess, like your walk with the Lord and also be mentored. And so it's a really good opportunity. You just pay a little bit extra, but that pays for like field trips and books and things that are going to be beneficial to your growth and your mentorship. So that's really cool. And then as you see right there, it's Ford Village is our last point on this one. Ford Village is kind of like a dorm style for upperclassmen. The difference is it's just kind of like a bigger house with like 10 people live in it. But it's kind of like that Stone House or Jewel House feel for upperclassmen, where like sophomores through seniors, you'll be living together and there'll be a mentor there living with them to just kind of walk through life with them and just love on them and point them towards Christ. So it's a really cool opportunity. I have a lot of friends who have done it and have loved it. And then this is our upperclassmen housing that we have on campus. We have apartments, brownstones, and townhomes. And so basically this is all on the bottom of the hill. DBU is on top of the hill. All the dorms are on top of the hill. But at the bottom of the hill is where the apartments, brownstones, and townhomes are. And so as you can see, the apartments house 4 to 5, and then both the brownstones and the townhomes house 6 to 7 students. And with that being said, it's kind of in order there. Actually, no, it's not. The apartments is the second most expensive. The brownstones are the most expensive housing, and the townhomes are the least expensive. But it also depends on how many people you have. A 7-person townhome is going to be less expensive per person than a 6-person townhome because you're going to have to rent a little bit different. But with that, you get you get in the apartments you have 2 bedrooms, you have a kitchen and a living room, and then the brownstones and the townhomes you have 3 bedrooms and then a kitchen and a living room as well. They're just designed a little bit differently. The brownstones are a little bit nicer there because they're a little bit newer as well. The townhomes are a little bit smaller than the brownstones are. But yeah, and then as you can see, we have our pool and hot tub right there, which is that's a good place to go during the summer. Obviously, when it gets cold outside, it's not as fun to swim. But yeah, I live in a townhome. I also lived in a brownstone at one point. Really good times. It's a lot different than the dorms. It's a fun time. So this is what brings us around to student life. So as you saw on the earlier slide, we have up to 50. We have 50 plus student organizations, and within that is Greek life. So Greek life is a little bit different at DBU than it is anywhere else, at any other public university. As you can see, it is centered around service. So we call them service-based organizations. And what that means is Greek life organizations are based around some sort of service opportunity. And so just kind of depending on each fraternity or sorority, they have different kind of service opportunities they are involved in. Some work with firemen, some will work with orphans. This kind of depends. Each one has their own service, but they also do have like fun events happening. A lot of people will throw on formals and dances and just like have a good time. It's also all of our fraternities and sororities are not connected to public universities. So what that means is we just have completely different organizations names and just like what they do. And so with that being said, we also have our intramural sports. And so for those of you who don't know what intramural sports are, it's basically it's exhibition sports. So we have softball, we have volleyball, both and sand, we have football, we have spike ball, all kinds of different sports. And basically, it's all this exhibition. It's for fun. But for those of you who are like me and love playing sports, but didn't really want to go the route of playing in college, um, or maybe weren't able to, you can play intramural sports and have a ton of fun with your friends, and you can compete to win awesome T-shirts. So yeah, and the pride of just being able to say, "Hey, my team was the best softball team last year," you know. So intramural sports, really fun, really awesome time. But yeah, tons of different organizations on campus, and it's a ton of fun. Lots of easy ways to get involved at DBU. And that's kind of like I think student life is the big thing about DBU that is so attractive to most people. Because of just the experience of DBU, there's so much that you can do at DBU, so many things that are happening year round. And we'll actually talk about some of those events here in a second. But the events and the things that happen at DBU really is what makes DBU so worth it to attend. And so here are some of our traditions. This is kind of what I was talking about a second ago. First, we have SWAT Week. So SWAT Week is, as it says, Student Welcome and Transition Week. What that means is you have your orientation at the beginning of the summer. So you'll come, you'll sign up for classes, everything will be good to go. And then after that, you'll kind of be home all summer. And then the week before class starts, all the freshmen move onto campus and we have SWAT Week. So it's just an awesome week where you're just kind of transitioning and learning more about DBU, how to get involved at DBU. You have small groups with upperclassmen that lead them, and they can you kind of get to ask questions and just learn more, figure out these people can be your first kind of contact of being like, okay, if I have a question about anything, I know I can go to them. My small group leaders is SWAT. I'm still friends with them. I still talk to them occasionally, and it's a really awesome time. It's a really fun week. Then we have Mr. Patriot. So this happens actually during homecoming week, which you see is the next one. So homecoming is kind of our, we don't have a football team, so we have it during our basketball. But that's cool too, because we pack out the Berg and we pack out our basketball court and we get to have an awesome time just cheering on our team. Usually every year we win and it's a really good time. Our basketball team is really good. And we'll talk about sports a little bit in a second. But yeah, so for homecoming, we have a parade and there's float building all week. And we also have Mr. Patriot, which is just kind of like a male beauty pageant. So all the guys, like there's like usually 5 or 6 guys compete every year. And basically it's just a giant joke. So it's kind of like mocking beauty pageants, because obviously it's dudes that are doing it, and there's 3 different types of skits. You have like your water skit, you have your talent skit, and then you have your formal skit. And so you kind of just try to make everyone laugh as hard as possible. And it's just it's everyone's favorite tradition at DBU. Everyone loves it, and it's one of the it's one of the most fun times of the year. So then we'll skip homecoming because we just talked about that, and we have the Great Pumpkin Chase. So this actually just happened last Thursday. The Great Pumpkin Chase is a little bit different this year, but what it normally is everyone goes into the Berg right before Halloween. Everyone dresses up, huge costume party, and we just like dance to music and like have a great time. And then we go out all over DBU. They hide pumpkins, and you go try to find the pumpkins. And if you find the pumpkin, you can win prizes. I've seen people win gift cards, AirPods. I've seen someone win a PS4 before. So It's an awesome time, really fun event. And then this is probably like Mr. Patriot is a favorite, but like this is probably the favorite tradition for DBU students, and it is the Christmas tree lighting. So we have this spot on campus called the Quad. It's right in front of the L, which is the main area where all the classes happen. And the Christmas tree lighting, we have right in the middle. Every year we put a Christmas tree, and they put lights all over campus, on all the buildings, on all the trees all over campus. And then they put this massive Christmas tree in, and they put lights on that as well. And so on the first week, the first Monday after Thanksgiving every year, we have our Christmas tree lighting where everyone gathers and there's hot cocoa and marshmallows and all the cool stuff. Live reindeer show up, fireworks go off, and it's just a really awesome time. Celebrate Christmas and decorate the tree, and it's really fun time. Everyone loves that time. It's really sweet, and it's really really fun. That's probably my favorite tradition that we have on campus because it's just a sweet time to hang out with friends and usher in the holiday season. But yeah, next is our spiritual life. So we have chapel. So chapel we have 3 times a week if you're a freshman, 2 times a week if you are an upperclassman. And so basically, what that looks like is we all just kind of gather in the chapel at 10 a.m. and the entire school just kind of shuts down, and we all just kind of gather in the chapel and we worship and we spend time there. One of the cool things about chapel is that it is completely student led. So if you like singing or you play guitar or some sort of instrument, you can try out for the chapel worship team, and you can just enjoy just using your gifts to worship the Lord. We also have tons of service events and opportunities all the time happening on campus. I get emails about them all the time about different happening where I can go serve, and that's the idea of like trying servant leaders. And so it's a really great time to just be with friends serving. And then we have our BSM outreach, which is they're an outreach group that they work with other colleges, but we also have a lot of in-house events where we're just kind of raising money to support other like service places and stuff. And so basically, with that being said, they just put on a lot of really cool events. My favorite event that they do is their coffee shop that they do every year. It's just kind of a time where they buy a bunch of coffee, make it, and then we get to hang out and listen to live music from students on campus. And so it's really cool. And then we have missions trips, which is those are always really fun. All of our sports teams go on they go on a mission trip every 4 years actually. So if you are in sports, you'll be going on mission trips every 4 years, which is a really cool opportunity. I know we go to India, or we have gone to India. We go to Israel 3 times a year, and we have the big one that a lot of people go to is Beach Reach, which is in South Padre, Texas. And basically, what happens is we send people down in vans to go down to South Padre during spring break, and while all the spring breakers are partying, we give them free van rides, and we pray over them, and we try to share with them in a way of doing missions there. So that's a really cool opportunity and cool time. And then we have our mentorship program, which is you'll get partnered up with a staff member on campus, and they mentor you both professionally and spiritually. And so I've known a lot of people who have done this program, and it's been really cool and a really good opportunity to be mentored and developed professionally and spiritually. And it has really been beneficial to a lot of people on campus. And so the moment we've all been waiting for are sports. So if you look at the men's and women's sports sections, all of our sports are D2 except for baseball, which is D1. So like I said earlier, we don't really have a football team, but we treat our baseball team like it's football. Every time there's a game for baseball, we pack out our stadium and we grill out. We have a good time, and our baseball team is really good. Since I believe 2010, we have sent the most baseball players to the MLB or minor league affiliates. So most of the people that you'll be watching on our team will be playing, if not in the majors, they'll be in the minors. So our baseball team is really good. They make it to the regional tournament every year. We're still waiting to make it to the College World Series, but we know we'll make it one day. But yeah, and then all of our other sports are D2, as you can see there. And then those on the far right are our club sports, which you can see cheerleading, lacrosse, bass fishing, hockey. And then these two are brand new, motocross and esports. So basically, all these sports are really dope. One of the ones that is not there is Patriots. They're a dance team, and they they kind of do the same kind of stuff that cheerleading does. They're at all the games, and they do dancing, and then they also go to Florida once a year to do a competition. So that's really cool. But yeah, I'm not talented in any of those areas for club sports, or else I would for sure do one of them. But obviously, I'm not. Well, y'all don't know me, but I'm not really good at any of those. So I'm just kind of like, well, I'll do my intramural sports and I'll be good at that. But yeah, so these are our basic admissions requirements. And so for the ACT, it's a 21. For the SAT, it's a 1060. And then for the CLT, it's a 71. For the CLT, y'all probably don't need to worry about that unless y'all spent a lot of time with the CLT. The reason we have the CLT up is because some people spend their entire life working on CLT curriculum, and so they are just better in that area. And so if you have spent a lot of time with the CLT, go ahead and do that, and we'll take your scores for it. But if you don't know what it is or you haven't used it before, don't worry about using it. Worry about the ACT and the SAT. And then your GPA needs to be a 2.5 or higher. With that being said, I believe the next slide, yeah, test optional. So this is test optional. But with that being said, if you take your ACT or SAT, send it in because it is still worth it. You can still gain scholarships, and your test can help your scholarships to be higher. So do take your test scores if you can, and it can end up helping your scholarship amounts that you will get. And then as you can see, that top thing says Go DBU app. That is the name of our application. So if you are interested in applying, just go ahead and look that up on Google. And then, so y'all don't really need to worry about this because it's transfer, but I'll leave it up for a second in case you're interested in going somewhere else and then transferring to DPU in the future, so you can take a picture of that. And so here are our scholarships. So this is our main scholarship that we give to incoming students, and it is called the Christian Service Scholarship. So basically, to get the Christian Service Scholarship, all you have to do is be a Christian. So if you are a Christian, it literally will be a form at the end of the application that says, are you a Christian? You just have to say yes, and then you have to type out about 5 sentences that say, that just kind of tell us about how you're a Christian, where you go to church, and kind of just like you're walk with the Lord. And then with that, you instantly get $3,000 per year just for being a Christian. So that's a big one. So that's a total of $12,000 over the course of 4 years. So that's instant just for being a Christian. You get that. And then next is our merit scholarships. So to have academic scholarships, you must have the Christian Service Scholarship. And this is considered on the basis of GPA and test scores. Obviously, test scores are optional this year. So they are still currently working on a formula to kind of decide what scholarship amounts will look like if you are not able to take your tests. But don't let that stop you from applying because you can still get scholarships. So the base, if you get CSS, and you meet our admissions requirements. So if you have a 2.5 GPA and either a 21 on the ACT or a 1060 on the, then you will instantly get another $4,000. So you will start off with $7,000 per academic year for being a Christian and meeting our admissions requirements. And then based on your academics, your GPA and test scores, you can get up to $12,000 per year. So depending on GPA and test scores, you can get up to that. Now, that's why if you take your ACT and SAT, it can be really helpful, because if you have good scores, you can get that extra money that can get you more scholarships. And then the last main scholarship that we have is the Christian Leadership Scholarship. So basically, what that means is that basically for this, the requirements is that you're not just a Christian, but you're also leading out. So at your church or in your school, you might be leading as a Christian. Maybe you started a Bible study at your school, or maybe you lead worship at your church. That's kind of what we're looking for this scholarship. And this, you need to complete your CLS file, which requires 3 things: a CLS interview and then 2 recommendation forms, one from a teacher at your school and then one from a pastor at your church. The average kind of award that we kind of see is $1,500 per year, but I've seen it get all the way up to $3,500 a year. So really just, it's kind of based on need, but also off of, are you leading? And so the CLS interview is not like super formal. It's really chill. You just meet with one of our staff members and they just want to get to know you, talk to you, and just hear what you're all about, who you are, and learn about you, and just be able to see how you are leading out in your community. But yeah, here are our 5 reasons to attend. The official ones that we put on the power slide. I'll just read them out for you. It says, discover your calling, experience community, impact lives, pursue a purpose, and change the world. Of these 5, the one that kind of hits home with me the most is experience community. The reason for that being, when I came in as a freshman, I was kind of looking for a community, didn't really have a ton of it. And on my hall in Lang is where I was, the hall that I was on, I met like 10 guys, and we are all best friends to this day. I'm a senior, going to graduate in May, and we are all best friends now. And we all have pointed each other towards Christ, and we've all pursued the Lord together, and it's been an awesome time. One of them is actually that guy right there on the screen that you're looking at. His name's Kevin. He's a really cool dude, loves Jesus. In fact, he's engaged now. But yeah, we're all best friends. We have a group chat, and we ultimately all ended up going to church together at the same 2 different churches. So we don't all go to church at the same church, but we go to 2 separate churches, just kind of depending on, I guess, preferences. And so that's another thing, like the culture of DBU just pushes for that community. And so if you're looking for community, if you're looking for people that have a like-mindedness with you, DBU is a really good place to go. We love the Lord. We're unashamed of how much we love the Lord, and we're constantly trying to push each other towards Christ and towards the local church. And in doing that, we're just loving on each other. And through that, like, we're being taught and we're learning and we're being molded into servant leaders every step of the way, which goes back to the mission statement that we were talking about earlier. But yeah, so you can apply now. There's not really any opening time for applying or any deadline to apply. So you can go ahead and go online to that website right there, go-dbu.org/freshman. And you can just apply right there, and your CSS application will be right at the end. So just go ahead and fill out the application. And your admissions counselor, his name is Harold. So basically, Harold will be working with you. I'll also be working with you and with Harold as um, we just kind of get you here to DBU and talk about scholarships and all the different things. So if you have any at all, feel free to email me. I'll be emailing and texting you, so just be checking your email after you apply. So yeah, I will. My email, if you can write this down, it's gwelpman@dbu.edu. So GWELP as in Paul, MAN at dbu.edu. So if you have any questions or anything like that, feel free to reach out. Um, I can answer my email any time of day. If you email me, just let me know where you're from, and I can try to help you out, answer any questions that you might have. But yeah, so um, this is kind of what DBU is, and yeah, thanks for listening.